And the fact is, the farm subsidies are incredibly destructive to the economy. They're incredibly destructive to like society. I mean, we wouldn't have things like high fructose corn syrup and everything if it wasn't for the fact that the subsidies are making corn so cheap. And the farm subsidies are totally and completely 100% unnecessary. Like there are
And
plenty of
I want to throw in
vegetables.
another point. I want to throw in another point to that. We also wouldn't have as much of an immigration problem without those corn subsidies. Because guess what? Since we started
But
subsidizing corn, we've destroyed Mexico's corn economy.
Right,
And we've made
absolutely.
a lot of people have to come up to America in order to survive, and now we've got this quote-unquote immigration problem that they're all pissed off at.
And those corporations
but
that are responsible for pushing politicians to create those farm subsidies in the first place, those corporations then turn around and advertise in Mexican newspapers for workers to come up to America and work for them. And they're undocumented workers, so when they get here, they have no rights and they have no say whatsoever, and the corporations can just get them to work for whatever amount that they want to pay them, and make them work for as long and hard as they can manage to get them to work. And then when the feds decide that they need to save face and put on a good show, those same corporations again turn over their choice of employees to the Fed, and sacrifice those people for the sake of continuing to do what they've always done. And so it's the people that suffer, not the corporations. The corporations are not the ones that are being punished for employing these unregulated, I'm sorry, not unregulated, undocumented workers. It's the people that end up being separated from their families and sent back to Mexico and treated like criminals and whatnot.
And they also fill our for-profit prisons.
Right, absolutely.
But then, and like you turn what used to be landowners and entrepreneurs in Mexico into day laborers in the United States that
Yes.
for some reason people can't stand. And but like there's an article where you could find a list of vegetables that are not subsidized, like a list of crops that aren't subsidized, and it has things like carrots and cucumbers and like it's just a long list of vegetables that when you go to the supermarket, you see them there and they're perfectly fine. They don't need any subsidies to get there. They somehow get there without them. And then for some reason corn is subsidized and wheat is subsidized. Like all these things that don't need to, like none of these things need to be subsidized. And these programs go all the way back to what you call it, to Roosevelt, and they were disastrous then and they're disastrous now.
Yeah, I
I
actually
actually
agree that the subsidies are absolutely unnecessary. They only seek to, make the rich corporations even richer, and putting, such power into the hands of these people that they can get away with doing stuff like putting high fructose corn syrup and regular corn syrup and corn starch and modified corn products into everything that we buy, and it's mostly GMO corn and also soybean flour and soybean oil and all that other stuff.
And it distorts the entire it distorts the entire economy. Just the subsidy of corn distorts the entire economy because corn is now mandated. You have to put 10% of every gallon of gasoline has to be ethanol. So now everything is transported by trucks in this country, and that's all dependent. That used to be dependent on the price of fuel, which now includes corn. So the subsidies are basically like the corn subsidy itself is contaminating the entire economy with like with an amazing level of distortions, and this is perfectly fine. Like there's no reason.
Right, and the illusion here with the farm subsidies is that these subsidies are actually helping farmers. And I mean, that's why they call it farm subsidies, because they want the regular American people to get this image in their head of, old MacDonald with his red barn and, his little cow trotting by his side and, his little cornfield and whatnot. We need to help these people, otherwise they could go out of business and lose their farm and whatnot. But if the actual goal was to help farmers and help the American people be able to more easily afford food, then they would be subsidizing all crops and all foods, including corn and soybeans. But they're not. They're subsidizing. Our politicians are subsidizing what their corporate donors are telling them to.
Yeah, and there's also an environmental aspect to this. I mean, you subsidize corn, wheat, rice, cotton, and there's another one I'm forgetting. But all these
Soybeans.
high water
crops.
content soybeans, high water content crops, and you're incentivizing farmers not to rotate and to essentially destroy their soil. And I'm pretty sure everybody's seen either Food Inc. or the King Corn movie.
Yes.
Where they show that you subsidize this and it causes over time future droughts in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Mix in a little climate change and we have a disaster.
Absolutely.